Happy Wednesday. We are going to talk about another world-class thought process. I am just connecting this live to Instagram, which fortunately does take some time. Okay, we are connected. Thank you for all that patience. So, one thing that I've learned in studying high performers and studying champions and studying the world-class thinking process is that the world-class shifts from likable to effective. As I share this insight, I really want you to pay attention to which one are you doing? Because a lot of what I'm talking about is unconscious programming, and it takes some time to identify those unconscious programming. The average minded thinker deeply desires to be liked and is intrinsically, so internally motivated by that need to be liked. Now, such a thinker will walk into a room with the aspiration of being liked. This is not conscious, this is a very unconscious programming. And being liked is the first thing that they're actually seeking. And I'm talking about professional settings here. So they unconsciously do things that are going to increase their odds of being liked, and they will refrain from doing things that may hinder their likability. Unfortunately, it's a fear based mindset keeping them from reaching their fullest potential. Now, this deeply rooted belief that they need to be liked limits the average minded individual. I think we can consciously agree that we know everyone's not going to like us. But unconsciously, that hasn't really taken heart because we've got some unresolved emotions and memories that have been suppressed or repressed. While the average minded individual will tell themselves they're effective, they are only effective to the degree of feeling liked. When an individual with an average mindset feels unliked by someone, their ability to perform effectively is greatly diminished. This immediately causes them to take the defense or become self-absorbed, focusing on how they are coming off to another. Ultimately, the average minded individual is in bondage to the fear of man, where they unconsciously see the human in front of them as their God, desperately needing their approval and affirm their worth. To some degree, we are talking about performance anxiety in the workplace. The manifestation of this fear of man causes the average individual to be like a chameleon, changing their colors to fit in with the flock in front of them. Their need to be liked and accepted by the herd is more important than being effective or completing the task for which they are responsible. They are limited in their effectiveness as they give the keys to their mental castle away to whomever is in front of them, right? They see that person as their God, the ability to judge and affirm them. Now, a world-class thinker does things differently. They have moved beyond wanting to be liked by others and instead focus on being effective. So right from that first shift, they have done the work to get out of that fear of man. They're also leading by their values. Howdy, thanks for joining. They are leading by their values, and they're very clear on what's most important to them and their what they're after. So the champion prefers to approach tasks in an agreeable and friendly manner. They're not threatened or negatively influenced when it appears impossible, though, whereas an average-minded individual is. So the goal of a world-class thinker is to be effective, not necessarily to be liked by everyone. Right there, we've got two shifts in perspective at the unconscious and conscious level, which will cause them to show up differently. Now, the world-class thinker understands and accepts that not everyone will like them. And this is truly accept, not just consciously, but also in their heart and in the unconscious mind. Just as they're not going to like everyone, just as you don't like everyone. And sometimes that reality is professionally irrelevant of being liked or not. Now, being liked or not is, again, ultimately irrelevant if one is ineffective in their task. Again, professionally speaking, a true champion prioritizes effectiveness over likability. World-class thinkers understand they cannot simultaneously focus on being effective and liked by the person in front of them. And science has proven that humans cannot think about two things simultaneously. We can think about multiple things, but we shift from one to the other. We're not thinking about them the same at the equal level. Additionally, the champion understands that this double-minded focus yields very little, if any, fruit. The champion becomes single-minded about being effective, even if that means ruffling feathers. While an atmosphere of hostility is not their approach or hope, they the champion is comfortable and accept that being less agreeable sometimes is going to be necessary to accomplish their goals. They are courageous, they are fearless, they are humble in that truth. Whereas somebody who's focused on being liked, they're typically going to fold. Now, with that laser focus, the champion has decided that they will be effective over likable. Check in. Do you want to be liked more than effective when you go into a meeting, when you go into a sales call, when you go to the golf course, when you go and do whatever? Do you care about being more impressive and liked or being effective and doing a great job? Now, the average minded person needs to be accepted to be effective, resulting in being ineffective, right? They're really struggling with a rejection mindset. The champion operates from a mindset of emotional maturity and wisdom. Now, the average minded individual is a fool. I don't mean that cruelly, I'm just sharing the research. Now, the journey from being average minded to becoming a world class thinker involves a fundamental shift, prioritizing likability to emphasizing effectiveness. Now, this shift liberates individuals from the constraints of seeking approval and allows them to focus on achieving tangible results. While the average minded person may find themselves trapped in the cycle of seeking acceptance to be effective, the champion recognizes the effectiveness requires unwavering commitment and dedication, even if occasionally unsettling others. By embracing this mindset, individuals can transcend the need for external validation, which is never going to be enough, by the way, and unlock their full potential as agents of change and progress. Ultimately, the choice between being liked and being effective is very clear. Effectiveness prevails as the hallmark of true greatness. I realize that I only have one life to live, just like you. I only have one life. So I've decided to be effective in everything I do. That's my goal, is to be effective. Now, it's going to upset someone. For instance, someone says, why are you making fun of Blacks? I have no idea what I've done that's even noted race in this. So I would say, please stop projecting your unresolved issues onto me. That's what I would honestly say to this person. And again, if I upset anyone, it's never my intention. I'm going to communicate. I'm going to negotiate with them. I'm going to remain professional. I want to be emotionally mature. I want to listen to them. But I'm not going to limit my potential, and I encourage you to do the same. Don't limit your potential or stop yourself from achieving your goals because of someone else's thinking issues, because of someone else's unresolved emotions, because of someone's emotional immaturity. Be mindful of not falling into the thinking traps of mind reading, where you're trying to figure out what someone is thinking or fearing another person. I live by certain morals that intentionally avoids harming others. I really believe treat people the way you want to be treated. That's how I run my company. That's how I really even go to the grocery store, right? Like I really believe leaving the world better than it was. But that's often very subjective, right? Where I think it could be great, you could think it's awful. But, and I encourage you to do this too, I will not allow myself to be treated as a doormat or live in fear of what another person might do or say to me, right? Like the more I study psychology, and I've got 2 graduate degrees in psychology, the more I realize so many of our adult issues really are from our childhood. And so many issues of others that we have to deal with is their unresolved issues. So here's your action plan. Number 1, where have you limited yourself because you desire to be more liked than being effective? Number 2, how do you interpret not being liked? And what are the physical manifestations does it have on your body? Like, where is this coming up in your body? Where do you feel that sensation of feeling rejected or not liked? Is it in your heart? Is it in your hands? Is it in your legs, your cheeks? And thirdly, when you feel the inclination to prioritize being liked over being effective, how can you motivate yourself to stay focused on your intended goals? Now, again, this is all, I'm talking about this framework here in a professional setting where we are hired to complete a job and nothing more. Let me know in the comments what you like. So I learn a little bit more about you, and I am wishing you a great day. Now go and create a great day, because guess what? It is up to you.